بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح، تنهدى يا صاحي كي تستريح، وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح، يسعك الفضاء الرحيب الفسيح. سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح، تنهدى يا صاحي كي تستريح، وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح، يسعك الفضاء الرحيم.
الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Over the last couple of weeks alone, I've been asked numerous times about the OneCoin cryptocurrency and the OneCoin compensation plan. In fact, you could go as far as saying that if I was given one coin for every time I was asked, I'd be a millionaire by now. So maybe that's the next venture I should look at. Returning to the more important and more serious matters, the OneCoin, and as you notice when I introduced this, I introduced it as the OneCoin compensation plan and the OneCoin cryptocurrency because the two are separate. Cryptocurrency, for instance, is a digital currency in which encryption techniques are used to regulate the generation of units of currency and verify the transfer of funds operating independently of a central bank. So these are encrypted. So it's a currency which is not physical. It can be made physical in the example of Bitcoin, but in reality they are digital currency, and they are using encrypting techniques. The miners will mine these particular currencies. But I'm not here to talk specifically about cryptocurrencies. That will be a topic for another day. Today I'm going to discuss the OneCoin scheme in particular. Now, a number of fatawa that I've released over the past few months discuss the change and what's going on with respect to the OneCoin compensation plan. The first fatwa you'll find on our website is the one which is dated the 12th of March 2016, corresponding with the 2nd of Jamad al-Ukhra 1437, in which I highlighted that the OneCoin compensation plan is a multi-level marketing scheme. So it's based on a cryptocurrency or a virtual currency or a digital currency, whatever words you choose to use. But you have to join the compensation plan, and the fee varied from £100 up to around £28,000. And what this permit allows you to do is to actually buy tokens. So you don't actually purchase OneCoin or OneCoins with this. You actually just get the tokens. The tokens are then used to mine OneCoins at a later date. As I said, my main focus is going to be on the compensation plan itself, but I will touch on the cryptocurrency side of it as well. When I looked on that date on the coin market cap, which has a list of all the cryptocurrencies, in fact 640 of them, OneCoin was not listed. And that itself should be sending alarm bells. When I explored, so I'm now just going to explore the compensation plan, not the whole scheme of the currency attached to it. And when you look at the terms and conditions, which I accessed on that date, and you'll find the website details on the fatwa itself, and there'll be a link with this video to the fatwa, or if not, you'll find it on our Telegram channel. You will find that there is lots of ambiguity and lack of detail as to what is actually sold and what is owned. And you'll find that with these schemes, and over the few years, or rather over the last couple of decades, these schemes exist, there is a lot of jahala. There's lots of things left very brief, in an abbreviated way, which is intentional in order to facilitate what you could argue is some form of deception. For instance, there's two particular sort of clauses which stand out seriously problematic. For instance, the one which is users hereby accept that the company reserves the right to at any given time change the OneCoin compensation plan. Should a change ever be needed, it will be done to protect the longevity of the OneCoin as a company, and therefore also provide a secure and long-term business for both me and OneCoin. that the said comes to all areas of the compensation plan, including but not limited to any potential profit sharing or other benefits provided by the OneCoin compensation plan. And there's also one which comes further, which talks about the IMA, that's the individual who buys into the compensation plan, acknowledges and agrees that the company reserves the unequivocal right to change or modify the company's compensation plan. There are just two that I've highlighted. And what this does is it gives absolute authority or an unbalanced power to the company over the IMA. And this authority, which I've already mentioned in the short video, which refers to business transactions within the framework of the Shari'a, which touches upon the issue that these are considered as shurutul fasida. And shurutul fasida are those types of clauses which as a result make the whole transaction impermissible. And what is a shartul fasid? What it means is that وَهُوَ مَا يَكُونُ فِي مَنْفَعَةٍ لِأَحْدِ الْمُتَعَاقِدَيْنِ. What it does, it gives a benefit to one of the two transactors or one of the two individuals, transacting parties, to such an extent where this benefit is considered as riba. And obviously we don't need to go into much explanation as to the issue with riba. And you find these, and these are kind of there to exploit the IMA, to take advantage of him. And he is being sort of sucked into it because of greed, or he was sort of tricked into it. He's now in there, he's already invested hundreds or maybe thousands of pounds, and as a result he needs to now draw other individuals into it in order to succeed. And then I finished off by saying that clearly this gharar, uncertainty and jahala makes this, due to these specific issues, the whole transaction impermissible. As a result, I was contacted by OneCoin, not sure if it was the actual organization itself or a third party acting on its behalf. And as a result of the fatwa which was released on the 12th of March 2016, there were changes made to the compensation plan. A number which, first of all, it took several to and froing in order to have them change, but eventually some of the terms and conditions were changed, the ones which I had highlighted in the original fatwa. Now what is said now was some other inclusion, which is, so the original one was, but it still retained on the agreement, but on the terms and conditions it changed, and it said that OneCoin shall be entitled to change the compensation plan at any time. OneCoin will announce amendments within a reasonable period. The IMA has the right to object to the amendment. In case of an objection, the IMA is entitled to terminate the contract at the date of entry into force of the modification. In case he or she does not terminate the contract within 2 weeks after the entry into force of the modification, the IMA expressly accepts the modification. So even though there is still clearly the unequivocal right given to the company as it's referring itself to, i.e. the OneCoin compensation plan company, the scheme, it is still saying though there is still the possibility of the IMA terminating the contract. So in those cases, within the actual contract, and that's what this second fatwa is, which is dated on the 2nd of May 2016, dated on the corresponding to the 24th of Rajab 1437. What it's referring to here is the actual contract itself. Now again, when I introduced the compensation plan, or when I introduced this short talk, I mentioned that I'm not even touching upon the cryptocurrency side of it. Whether the cryptocurrency side of it exists or not, that itself is questionable, especially when I mentioned to you in the original fatwa that we had coinmarketcap.com in which 640 cryptocurrencies are mentioned, and I could not find OneCoin on there. Similarly, you'll find in the second fatwa a link to a daily newspaper, The Mirror, in which it mentions that this OneCoin is a hyped up web currency which is virtually worthless, and this was carried out by Andrew Penman, and he reported that in the Mirror. Again, you'll find the link to that article in the second fatwa. So even though I've touched upon saying the contract as it's now laid out shows the contract is permissible, I'm not discussing the whole concept of the OneCoin, and I'm not discussing the whole concept of the cryptocurrency. So I have touched at the end by saying, look, many reputable websites are not convinced with the whole scheme, and there's no clarity in the business model and the product sales revenue. Not only that, it's questionable whether this currency actually exists, The topic of cryptocurrency, as I mentioned, I will touch on at a later date. Is it permissible to actually be dealing in cryptocurrency? And that will be for another video, another time. And then finally, we come to the latest declaration, announcement, statement or fatwa from Markazul Ifta, which is now dated on the 10th of October 2016, on the 8th of Muharram 1438. And this was due to an announcement by FCA. And FCA is the Financial Conduct Authority, and they made an announcement on the 26th of September 2016, in which they mention that this is the title: Beware Trading Virtual Currencies with OneCoin. It says, we believe consumers should be wary of dealing with OneCoin, which claims to offer the chance to make money through the trading and mining of virtual currencies. OneCoin markets itself as a digital currency based on cryptography. It claims to have a finite amount of currency units, which means it is unaffected by factors such as inflation, and that is not bound by a central bank. The FCA does say why we are concerned. It says the City of London Police are currently investigating OneCoin. If you believe that you've been a victim of fraud in this regard, so clearly it's considering it as fraud, even though the City of London Police had not actually concluded their investigation. It says, or have had dealings with OneCoin, then please contact Action Fraud. So clearly they're linking the two together, as in dealing with OneCoin and fraudulent activity. This firm, referring to OneCoin, is not authorized by us, and we do not believe it is undertaking any activities that require our authorization. However, we are concerned about the potential risk this firm poses to UK consumers. As OneCoin is not authorized, consumers who deal with it will have no protection from the Financial Ombudsman Service or the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. So what he's saying there, that these individuals are operating outside of the financial structure in order to ensure that any business dealings take place, those finances are not lost. So due to that, announcement came from Markazul Ifta, in which it says this supersedes any other fatwa or statement. And what it says is that our current position is that OneCoin cryptocurrency schemes or its cryptocurrency itself currently is impermissible to engage with due to the high probability. In fact, I mentioned, I said the modern financial world at best is constantly changing due to numerous influences. Cryptocurrency, and OneCoin in particular, is in its infancy and even more susceptible to change. Therefore, any fatwa or statement is specific to that particular time's terms and conditions and based on the proven or most probable situation. And it seems the most probable situation currently is that OneCoin is behaving in a fraudulent activity. And as a result, a Muslim is important for a Muslim to safeguard their wealth. And to engage in these kind of activities whilst there is a police investigation is not appropriate action in terms of safeguarding one's wealth. I do touch upon this because numerous queries that have come to me is how individuals are confused that one fatwa which was published on the 12th of March 2016 clearly highlighted the compensation, and again I reiterate, just referring to the compensation scheme, even though I touched upon the incredible situation that this cryptocurrency could not be found, and therefore most likely is behaving in some sort of fraudulent activity, but I never touched upon, I never made that allegation. And the second fatwa which said that the actual contract, because of the slight changes which were made within the agreement, is now valid as a contract. So, and folk somewhat confused that, hold on, is it jaiz or is it not jaiz? Well, this is quite simple to understand for those of us who work in this area, that when conditions change, then obviously the fatwa changes, because a fatwa is based upon the conditions which are currently at that particular time. And this is obviously over a period of the 12th of March to eventually the 2nd of May, and now obviously the 10th of October. So one hopes that when individuals receive these documentation or actually read the articles or is forwarded to them, and they see what they consider to be a contradiction, it's not a contradiction. It may be a different position, and the reason why it's a different position is because obviously the situation has changed. And sometimes a position can change when more information comes to light. And we should always be looking at taking a more preventative step when it comes to engaging in these types of activities, and therefore if we prefer to err on the or take a more cautious attitude and say, look, let's not engage in these kind of activities until we're absolutely sure what's going on. There are many more permissible business opportunities out there, and there's no point risking things like this in which wealth can be lost. The final position is obviously based on this report from FCA, and also we'll wait now until this police investigation is over. As we've seen very recently with Traffic Monsoon, we saw that that investigation led to a fraudulent activity. So there's a possibility that that's the case here as well. So again, just to summarize before we finish off, throughout the fatwa, the main focus has been on the compensation scheme and its validity based on its clauses and terms and conditions. We have touched upon it in both the fatwa, the concern that does this OneCoin actually exist? Does this cryptocurrency actually exist? That's one point. Secondly, what's the legality of engaging and dealing in cryptocurrency? So there's two things which those questions have not been touched upon, never mind answered. So those are things which are still outstanding and still need to be given some attention. Obviously, when it comes to the cryptocurrency situation of OneCoin, we probably won't know that until the police inquiries are over. When it comes to cryptocurrency in general, that is something that I'm hoping that I can spare some time over the coming weeks and months to investigate and hopefully report back to you. So that's what we'll be looking at. When the actual terms which I'd highlighted in the original fatwa were picked up by OneCoin and then made those subsequent changes, then the reply was that because of those changes which were made, that contract itself is legally fine, Islamically permissible. There's nothing in there which makes it problematic. However, even having said that, I finished off by saying, look, this cryptocurrency, there's so many reputable organizations, investigative reporters highlighting the issue of the reliability of this cryptocurrency, i.e. does it exist? And if it does exist, is it going to actually make any money, or is somebody just going to be taking the money and disappearing off to some island in the Caribbean? So in order to stop that happening, and especially with the police report or the police statement or the police investigation which is reported by the FCA, which is a government organization, as a result, with that third document, what we are saying now is, look, sit tight, let's see what happens, and there's only one of two possibilities. One is that OneCoin is considered as legally fine and they're not committing any criminal acts. If that is the case, then we can explore OneCoin as a cryptocurrency and explore cryptocurrency as a whole. Or it might come out that OneCoin itself is fraudulent, or the organization is engaged in fraudulent activities. As a result, OneCoin will no longer exist as an organization, and as a result, obviously, in conclusion, OneCoin as a cryptocurrency won't exist. So there may not be any further research required into OneCoin as a cryptocurrency, but there may be to look at cryptocurrencies in general. So that's what I want to leave you with, rather. The day of this video, you'll find at the bottom of the video whenever these are uploaded onto our YouTube channel, and you'll see the date there, and you can see when this video was made and when this statement was made. I hope I've been able to kind of address the concerns and how these three documents and how our position has changed over the several months, in order to make people better aware, A, of the process, and B, of how seriously we deal with things. We don't just kind of touch upon things and surface read them or skim read them and then give a position. I've now got a number of documents here and a number on my desktop, which is on cryptocurrencies, and this is going to make some light reading over the coming weeks in order to be better equipped. So we do take things seriously, we do research them properly before we make a statement. So I hope I have been successful, inshallah, in putting our position clear to you. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح يسعك الفضاء الرحيم